What's going on, guys? Welcome into episode number 8 of the Male Mind Podcast. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Great feedback from the last show. We had Bryce Prescott. Go back, check out that episode.
Yes.
It was legit. He went deep, talked about a lot of very important things. And today we have a guest that's going to do the exact same thing. He's going to up the ante. He's going to tell us his story. And the topic for today is self-esteem. And so Louis invited our guest onto the show. Go ahead and introduce our man.
What's up, you guys? Louis here. So one of my good friends. I've been around Ant for the past couple of years. I've seen his change. I've seen his self-esteem improve, his physical, his mental, his emotional, and huge growth, I would say. And I've seen it. I've been right there with him. He's also, he's actually works with me now. We do a lot of back-end stuff together. He also helps me with the gym. But the cool thing is I was able to actually see all the aspects of growth. And thanks, brother, for being here. I appreciate you. And yeah, tell us a little bit about your story and who you are.
Oh,
Anthony, right? Anthony.
Yes, Anthony. I mean, if you want to find me on Instagram, it's now Antzo Athletics. Pretty cool name. Changed it up. But yeah, thank you guys for having me. I do appreciate it. I don't take these opportunities lightly. So I do really appreciate you guys having me on. Yeah, a little bit about my story. So obviously how I met Lou is through fitness. I was looking up trainers around the valley and in the area, and funny, crazy story. Like I hit up 2 people before Louis, and the first thing they told me, I gave them all my stats, like how much I weighed, because I was looking to transform my body. And the craziest thing happened was these trainers told me that I was too fat and they wouldn't train me.
Just like that, flat out.
That's a real thing.
Straight out, flat out. And for me, I'm already going through like the self-esteem thing, right? And so when I saw that, it just like took me like 20 steps back.
It's like,
I'm like, I'm motivated now to start this journey of transformation, not only physically but mentally, emotionally, and different things in that space, in that arena. And to hear that from 2 people, I won't name them, but to hear that from them, and this is their profession, is kind of like, wow,
Yeah, because when the expert tells you, hey, you're not going to make it, bro.
Right.
Yeah,
And
I can see how that can just destroy you.
Oh yeah. And when I heard that, I remember that conversation. I was like, wait, there's no way, because you're trying to preach health, right, and fitness and fat loss and weight loss. Like, you should be able to help every single individual, even if they're anorexic or they're obese.
Yeah, so it was very hard for me, and I remember once I read that, like I was literally sitting on my bed and I was just reading that, like, you can't be serious. Like, this was like my last chance for me to change my body, right? And so then I found Transform Fitness, 5-star Google rating, and literally text the number. I said, hey, my name is Anthony Lewis, blah blah blah. Here's my stats. I'm looking to change my life, And then he said, not a problem. Come in. I got you, bro. That was the first thing he said. And I never seen him, never talked to him, ever. And the first thing he said was, I got you, bro. Come in. Literally next day, came in. We talked about life. We talked about my eating habits, everything. And from that day forward, he started educating me. So it helped me, right? Because 24 hours ago, I was just like, well, that's it. But
That's
then
it.
Here's another
yeah,
explosion in my life.
So I love that. 2 things from that. Number 1, business peeps, get your Google reviews on point.
right.
Those matter.
Right.
They
Well,
do
point
matter.
number 2, let's go back.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start because that decision in and of itself of I'm going to Google the coach, I'm going to try to find someone that can help me, that decision by itself is monumental.
Right.
So take me back to what went into making that decision, because a lot of people don't make that decision. I feel that is an underrated decision. It's difficult to get there when you're in a place of low self-esteem or things aren't going well. You don't like the way you look.
Right.
So how did that work for you? When did that click of, you know what? I need help and I'm going to reach out to these trainers.
Yeah. So the moment it clicked for me, so I remember, I know the day, it was April 16th when I reached out, right? So the week before, went to Vegas, having a good time, chilling, relaxing with friends and family. And when I got back from that trip, I looked at myself. I mean, we were eating everything, drinking, having fun, you know. Um, I looked at myself in the mirror and I just wasn't happy. I had my shirt off. I was an athlete growing up. And I just had my shirt off and I started crying. And I was just like, I don't know this person. Who is this guy?
Right.
Where did the fun Anthony go? Right? Where was the discipline Anthony? How did this happen? Where did it go? And it that moment was when I took off my shirt and just looked in the mirror, just randomly just looked in the mirror. And I was like, I really gotta do this for me, one, and for my children, my kids, because I want them to see a better lifestyle. There's other things than just, eating junk food and different things like that because you're feeling sorry for yourself, right? And so I wanted to show them, like, hey, get ahead of this early so you don't have to deal with it when you're older.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think that is a key motivator of your kids,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we talk about things like urgency,
Right.
and when you make it about somebody else, I think that is a much stronger motivation, even though doing it for yourself matters.
Right.
But when you say, hey, if I don't get ahead of this, I'm giving a bad example to my kids, what I'm feeding them, what we're eating together.
Right.
Now they're going to get overweight. Now they're going to struggle with this, whether it's self-esteem or health.
Right.
And so you really are the example. We
Right.
as
Right.
parents are the example. And so I think that that is a brilliant insight to why you would start to do this in the first place, not just for you,
Right.
but also for the people in the room.
Yeah. And that's why I always tell people you have to kind of find your why. So yeah, you can be motivated, but you have to have a why behind that motivation, right? And for a lot of people is I'm getting married in 6 months. That's a good why, right? I have to lose 20 pounds because I'm getting married. I want to look good in my wedding dress. A why could be my family, my kids, right? Or most of the time I hear is I just want to feel better about myself. That's my full-on why. But when you connect both of them together, like, you know what? I want to lose weight for me, but I want to show up for my kids better because they need to see how life should be in a healthy lifestyle.
And what I love is the fact that they're watching.
Right.
For example, my son, he loves soccer. He's a big Cristiano Ronaldo fan. He's got the haircut. He's wearing the
Right.
jersey right now. That's his thing. But Ronaldo did something that ruined my life. There's a clip on YouTube, if you Google it, where he goes into this press conference and Coca-Cola is one of the sponsors. So he walks in and there's Coke bottles on the stand because they're the sponsor.
Right.
He takes the Coke bottles, he puts them on the floor, and then he grabs a water bottle and he says, "Agua, no Coke, drink water." So he was telling people to not drink soda, drink water.
Wow.
Well, now my son doesn't let me drink soda. Every time there's soda on there, he's like, drink water. Now, he used to love Diet Coke because I drink Diet Coke.
Right.
He only drinks water now. And
That's
so
cheap, no?
when I drink soda, he's like, "Papi, agua." So I think the punchline is your kids are watching.
Right.
And so
Everything
if
you do.
I give them the example of I'm just drinking energy drinks all the time, which I do, or soda, then he looks at a successful person like he wants to be a soccer player and he's like, "Dad's doing it wrong." He
Right.
knows I'm doing it wrong.
Right.
And he tells me,
That's
"Yo,
wild.
drink water."
I love that.
Yeah. That's amazing. And then like I said, like fast forwarding to we get in the gym, I'm talking with him. Literally, we started immediately. And I thought that was the coolest thing because I was super nervous. Like, I don't know when I'm gonna start. I don't know when I'm gonna get a new meal plan. I'm a little afraid now, right? Now I'm going back to I've played sports and different things like that, but now my mindset is different because now I'm coming in like just ground zero,
Yeah, fresh start.
fresh start. So I'm like, oh crap, when am I gonna get a meal plan? And he shoots me the meal plan, shoots me the workout plan, and so on my drive here, I'm like, wow, like I sat literally in the parking lot for like 10 minutes. I was here 15 minutes early, sat there and just looked at the door and just like, okay, this is the first step for me, and I had that realization of I have to do this for me first, right? And I've grown up, my parents, love my parents. My dad would always preach, you're the head of the household, right? So as men, you're the head of the household. The household runs as you run, right? And so that thought before walking in was my thought process. Like, okay, this is how I'm gonna lead my family.
Yeah.
And it was like I had an emotional moment there, and then I just walked in. I'm like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah. And I love that because let's talk about Bryce last week. He actually made a good point about leading as males.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times in our generation, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like men are just getting soft again, right? We're
Yeah.
getting super soft. There's no leadership. There's no actual male, you know, and I hate the word alpha. Don't tell Cass I said that. Because she hates it too. I don't want to use it. But, more of that direct safety that we need to give our families. And we need to be leaders to provide that role of our kids are watching and they're going to do everything as we do, right? And how do you want your kids to grow up, right? How do you want people to view your family? How do you want your wife to see you?
Right.
I think that realization that you just said it, they're watching.
Yeah.
So I use the same example. If I continue to drink soda, my son now knows that that's not the right way.
Right.
So if I stick to my ways and I don't transition to something healthier because he wants to be in shape, and like I'm a soccer coach now, so it's like, dude,
Yeah.
I have to figure this out. Otherwise, he's gonna know,
Right.
and he's gonna look to other people
Right.
to get that example, right?
Right.
So you come into the gym. Did you feel overwhelmed? Did you feel self-conscious? Because there's a lot of really fit people that come through this gym that are way ahead.
Mhm.
How was that for you? How was day one, that first workout? What was that like?
He
Well,
killed it.
Yeah, I killed it. The first thing
Couldn't walk the next day.
the first thing Lou told me was, "Hey, grab those 5 pounds." We were doing shoulders, and I was just like, "What do you mean? Like, I know how to do this. I know how to lift. Like, I played sports. I played football. I did all these things.
I don't need these damn
Yeah,
fives,
I don't
bro.
need these fives,
Let's
right?"
go.
So I'm looking at the 20s,
Those fives
25s.
are the worst things ever.
I'm looking at the 20s, 25s. I'm like, we could start there. And he's like, no.
He's like, you're cute.
Like, I'm going to teach you how to lift. And when he said that, I'm like, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. And so literally we grabbed the fives. First set, I'm like, okay, I'm doing it. I'm doing great. I'm like, oh, yeah. He's like, all right, 4 sets of 15. So first set, did it. Second set, I'm like, okay, this is getting a little tough. Third set, I'm struggling when I get to 5, 6 rep. And he's like, yeah, you got 8 more, 9 more, let's go. And I'm like, wait a minute. And I'm looking at the 5 pounds. So it humbled me. And the thing about that I learned in that is like, it's okay to let go of your ego because you're not in charge. He knows the plan, right? He's been through it. So I tell a lot of my clients now is like, you have to be coachable, right? I played sports, like I keep saying, and I could have said, oh, no, you don't know what you're talking about. Let's grab the 25s. And he probably would have said, okay, grab the 25s and let me fail. But he didn't want me to fail.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the key point there, and what I love about not only what Lou does, but what you do now,
Yeah.
is that the reason why I think people can trust you is because you've already been there.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You've already done it.
Mhm.
Your competitors, they trust you, whether it's peak week or with water manipulation or sodium, because you've lived that.
Right.
Mhm.
And I think in today's day and age of the age of coaching,
Yeah.
Right.
that is often swept under the rug
Mhm.
of the experience. And so now, and we'll talk a little bit more about this, but now you're training people.
Right.
So you go from being in the parking lot,
Yeah.
scared,
Yeah.
emotional,
Yeah.
not knowing what's going to happen, doing that first workout with fives,
Mm-hmm.
and now you're the person that others look to go through that same experience. So
Absolutely.
how do
Isn't that
you guys
wild?
view that? Yeah, and that's directly my question. How do you guys view that? Because you know what it feels like. You know what it feels like. But to me, that's a huge responsibility. Because somebody comes in, they're broken, low self-esteem. So how do you guys view that? You first, Lou, when you know that the person that's coming through the door for that first workout just feels like total garbage sometimes.
So for me, and everyone knows this if you guys actually do know me and what I stand for, is I want every individual that I meet to be better, right? I've had so many people that have asked me for a job, right? I said it before, but they don't know what it takes. They don't have the balls, the charisma, the mentality, the vision, the care for other people. So if I can get someone from their lowest part of their life to get to their biggest part of their life, that's a win for me. But from that, I start observing, right? One of the biggest lessons I've learned is be an observer. If you're the loudest in the room, you're probably the dumbest.
Yeah.
Right? And I tell people all the time, like, observe, watch, look, listen, And that's how you know who's smart. That's how you know who has their shit together, right? And Ant was that person. He listened. He was coachable. He had this vision before of, I want to be like this. I don't want to be a trainer. I want to, be like Lou, right? It's not necessarily to be like Lou. It's have a career that I can grow in within myself, but help other people. The main thing is help other people. What I do is help other people become the next Lou, right? Or the next transform. And a lot of people take my stuff and take the blueprint and run with it, right? And they fail because they have the wrong intentions. Ant had the right intentions from the beginning. But I had to show him the ropes, just like any other coach, right? Any other athlete or person that has the information to make him better. I just gave him the information and he ran with it from day one to now. And how do business run and get better? How do people get better? You do the exact same thing as the other guy. You run the exact same blueprint as the other company who is worth 50 million, right? And you tweak it and make it better on your own. The answers are already there. I just gave him the answers.
How do you view that, Ant, when you start training someone?
I view it as an opportunity to impact their lives. 1, 2, I relate to them. I go on their level and say, and I explain it to them. Like, hey, I didn't get to where I'm at by just like good luck or anything. Like, I had to work to get here. I love my dad. One of the biggest things my dad told me growing up was like, if there's something that happens, like if you hit rock bottom in life, you have 2 responses. Either you can lay there and do nothing about it because that's a response, or you can take whatever knocked you down as a lesson and learn and grow from it and act on what you can do to be better at whatever you failed at. And so I explained that to my clients. Like, hey, yes, day 1's going to be hard. Yes, day 14 is going to be hard. Day 30 is going to be hard. But you have 2 responses. You can let that overtake you and quit, or you can, on those days that are hard, you can learn from it and grow from it. And I'm here to help you every step of the way.
Yeah, I love that.
And see, man, and that's why most trainers fail. Most people fail because you have to have the right intentions to be able to help another person. And expect nothing back.
In return, yeah.
Nothing in return. You should be doing this if you're listening as a coach, as a trainer, as a company. Do things without expecting anything back. Oh, Lou, you have so many clients. And yeah, and they all are awesome because I'm just giving it from here and from here because I want them to be better overall. That should be the main course meal, is have other people become better. You, Tony, wants me to be better.
Right.
And vice versa. That's why we are both succeeding together. It's something that's so wild to me that why would I want to? I actually posted the other day. I said, don't step on other people for you to grow. Well,
it's just having an abundance mindset, that
Yeah.
if somebody succeeds, it's not that they're taking it from you. There's enough to go around. I was just telling you off camera, I need you to do 50 public speaking events.
Yeah, I got yelled at.
so that we can build something. Like you just need those reps, right? Now, Ant, if you'll allow me, from what I understand, you went through a breakup.
Yeah.
Divorce, separation.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that, because when we go through these processes, often there's a strong emotional or relationship issue that is happening either at the same time or in the recent past.
Yeah.
And that usually is a huge factor in either what motivates you to start or what keeps you from starting. So talk to us a little bit about that for the people that are listening, that maybe they're in the thick of a separation, thinking about it. They just did.
Right.
How did you come out of that?
So crazy enough, Mine happened when I was pretty much at, I would say, the peak of my transformation.
Mm.
So
And
you were already in it.
I was
Yeah.
already in
Yeah,
it.
that's
I
right.
see.
And I was at the peak of, my transformation. Life is good, right? I see my body changing, my mental clarity is good, my emotional health is good. I'm around Lou and Cass, and we talk a lot. And that's another thing that people should understand too and do, especially as men. We should open up more. A lot of men kind of safeguard themselves. They don't want to open up. They don't want to share what's going on. Um, I had to face that fear and actually tell them what was going on. So when I, would talk to them about certain things and we would talk, we would have deep conversations during our lifts, and I would go home like, "Oh, this is great." Right? And so that's just a nugget for men out there, like, open up to someone that you trust, literally, because it will help you out in the long run. And so mine happened literally at the top of my transformation. I was feeling good. And then my lady decided she wanted to break up. And I thought I was good, right? We were prepping for a show. We were doing all these things. And she decided that she wanted to split. And
Did you see that coming though?
I did not see that
You didn't see
coming
that
at
coming?
all.
Damn.
And it brought me back to day one.
That's what I was going to ask. 'Cause
Yeah.
I can see that being extremely demoralizing. Of man, I'm making all this progress. Sorry, bro. Back to square one.
Back.
Actually, now your body might be fine, but your relationship is fucked.
Yep. Back to square one. And now I was like, I didn't know what to do at that moment.
Mm.
I'm like, okay, I was 270. Now I'm 215, right? Big transformation. My mental health is clear. Everything's good. And now I'm feeling like the guy that's 270 again.
Mm.
So now I'm like, what happened? At first, I didn't feel love because of my appearance. I didn't feel wanted because of my appearance. Now my appearance is a lot better, and I'm still getting
Still don't want me.
Yeah.
Damn.
And it was just like, whoa. And I never forget, we went to Jimmy John's, me, Cass, and Lou sat
Oh,
down,
yes.
and I
I
said,
got that number 14. If you guys want to order.
we sat down, and I said, guys, I want to talk to you guys. And, I told them what happened, and they were shocked.
Yeah.
Like, what? And I was just like, yeah. So I went through, that was in February of not last year, the year before. And from then on, I started taking a step back. We were prepping for a show. And so then what happens? Old habits creep up. Eating, falling off plan, dealing with stress. Now my stress levels are up. I'm trying to maintain my clients and different things like that. But life is happening outside of the gym. There's many times they would walk outside, they would see me on the phone, and I'm just like, man. And they're like, "You're good today? Like, we can help you out with your clients and different." Like, they literally, if I didn't have them in those moments, I probably would have just reverted all the way back.
Yeah.
And it was tough. Like, day in and day out, it was tough because now I'm like, I'm losing my family. Like, I thought things were gonna be, great. This was a stepping stone for us to build, and I've always wanted to do this, and she supported that, and now things turn. Like, how? Doesn't make any sense.
Like, what went wrong?
Yeah.
Kind of,
And Lou, how do you view that when you identify that life is happening to people outside of the gym? They started very motivated. They did it for the right, even people that did it for the right reasons,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Ant. But all of a sudden, you see him on the phone, you see him
Actually,
arguing. Life is happening.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thought process in that moment, especially when you're prepping for a show, you're in the thick of it,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Man, guess what? They just told me we're getting divorced."
Yeah.
So it's crazy. We didn't know we were going to talk about this today, by the way. But I actually posted this yesterday on my social media, on my Instagram. I said, as a lifestyle coach or athlete coach, you should know what your clients are going through. Is their relationship okay? Are their kids okay? How is their work environment? Are they struggling emotionally or mentally? Hormone or blood work checkup? If you ask the proper questions, you might find out why they aren't progressing on their weight loss journey. Ask, be involved, and help facilitate ways to accommodate their diet and gym life better. And for me, when someone is doing really, really good, when someone comes into the office and I do a consult, I always ask them, I shit you not, does your partner support you? That is, I have 7 questions that I ask. It's literally clockwork for me now. I go, married, kids, single, married. I say, does your husband support you? Yeah. I'm like, okay. And I ask him why, when, or how, right? Because some of the distractions are coming from that partner, from that relationship, from that marriage. And people seek an outside source to make sure that this doesn't get shittier and worse. But most of the time, people are getting divorced because of how they look, how they, how they feel.
Right, right.
But you guys gotta remember though, when someone's obese, when someone's low self-esteem and they have no control of their emotional state, they don't show up the same. So your partner doesn't see you the same, right? And that's why I preach so much. Be good with yourself, feel good, and then look good. Because you're gonna show up so much better for everybody else around you, your kids, your family, your partner. But your partner has to be included in this journey because a lot of that can be taken away from you like
Right.
that. So flip the story around. Oh, I even told Aunt, like, it's probably not you. You gotta also look at the perspective of what is she going through? What's happening with her life, her self-esteem, her body, her image,
Right.
her life. But people want to point fingers, and I actually had a client, which I won't name, but the first time I trained her, she goes, yeah, my husband left me and I have no idea why. And he keeps blaming me for all these things. And I'm like, it's not your physique because you look freaking bomb as hell,
Right.
So I asked her, you need to figure out what happened and what went wrong because it's not your fault. It's not your fault, people. There's always another perspective of that. You haven't found out the reason why your partner has decided to leave you. It could be infidelity. It could be, how you look and how you show up for people. It could be your kids. It could be financial. There's so many attributes that people don't realize that go into a breakup, right?
And it's having those conversations, right? And
Goes back to
and
it.
Nat, I'll just ask you the direct question. You don't have to go into details if you don't
Right.
want to, but do you know why?
I do, and I don't mind sharing it because it can help others. I believe what happened was I got overly consumed into what I was doing as far as I became laser focused on one thing, and that was changing my body. Because at the top of what the discussion we talked about was, self-esteem. So I became laser focused and I have to boost my self-esteem. So then I'm not at home as much. I'm working more, which I think I'm providing, right? Financially, I had a good paying job. I'm providing in those areas, but where I lacked was providing attention at home, doing the dishes when she had a all day and she was with the kids, pick up the kids, doing homework, different things like that. So I lacked there. And I thought it was great, right? Because I'm working on myself. You're taking care of the house. Everything is good. We're good financially, but I lack that attention to her as well as my kids, because she felt that she was doing everything by herself in that aspect. So I wasn't providing time.
Mhm.
And sometimes as men, we have to take a step back because we've all grown up. Hey, finances, make sure you provide that, but your kids and your loved ones want time.
Yeah.
They don't want you to be away working when they want to have a family dinner on a Sunday, and you're downstairs in your office preparing for work the next day. They just want their dad or their husband or their boyfriend just to spend time.
And I think that is critical. Like that
It's
is
critical.
because we are taught to do that. We are the providers.
Right.
And
It's
so
critical.
and you think you're crushing it.
Yeah.
You're working on yourself, on your body,
Yeah.
but there's a whole other aspect
Yeah.
that
Right.
we too often sometimes can fail to put enough attention into.
But that I'm trying to make all of you guys think and the audience think. You have that, but also, why wouldn't the other partner be comfortable enough to communicate what was going on so he knew what he needed to fix beforehand? That is my question. Because if we're talking about relationships and mental health, what was she going through?
Right.
That she was afraid of communicating, hey, I feel like I'm lost. I feel like you're not giving me enough. That comes into everything we've talked about of there needs to be a 50-50. You come together as 100. Right now you have a pact. So that's what I'm getting at. If you guys are going through something
Right.
like this, you have to play both scenarios. You have to. Because your partner might feel a different way how we portray it.
Yeah.
Because I'm the same way. I'm grinding it. I'm killing it. I'm doing talks. I have this and this and this and this. But if I'm not able to communicate or have her have that safety net to communicate, we're fucked.
Do you feel like if those conversations would have happened at the proper moment, the result would have been different? You feel like you'd
Yeah.
be in a different place today?
Yeah, I think it would be, yeah, absolutely. And that's where I feel like if relationships, if you can't talk to your partner, that's where therapy comes in. So you can express it so they can hear it. Or some people may not know how to articulate what they're going through and how they feel. And so then it ends up in an argument because they don't know how to communicate it properly. Instead of pointing the finger, be like, hey, let's just address the main issue instead of going tit for tat, yelling across the room, all those things. And that's why now I'm like, hey, therapy is very important. You need to talk to someone if you can't communicate your feelings to your spouse, and they'll help you communicate, right? And so for us, I think the result would have been way different, but we didn't have those at our disposal. We weren't available at those times, and we weren't trying to hear each other's side at that point.
Because it's a
Yeah.
skill set.
Yeah.
We've talked about this. It's a skill. You have
Communicating
to
is a
develop
skill.
it. Very few people
Yeah.
have it naturally. And even
Right.
if you think you have it naturally, those people that say, "Oh, I'm no filter, I'm no BS, I just say what I think."
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that might be an issue in and of itself of
True.
how you talk.
Right.
Your partner just isn't feeling the way that you communicate. So I think
Yeah.
that is a skill set that we all need to learn and be mindful of, hey, do you know how to have tough conversations?
Right.
And so the next question that I wanted to get into, Ant, is this idea of co-parenting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There are a lot of co-parents out there
Yeah.
that are trying to juggle the ball, figure it out somehow.
Yeah.
How do you view that now?
Co-parenting, I think it's if you take yourself out of it, your emotions out of being in that relationship, right? I think it can be a wonderful thing if the kids are the center of attention, right? Make it about the kids, not about, hey, I had the kids this weekend, we did this, to try to show off type deal.
Yeah.
Try to one up each other. I think that's where all the chaos happens because now the kids they go over to mommy's house and, oh, we went on a field trip to the aquarium or something. And now you're like, oh, well, I got to show her next weekend when I have the kids. I got to take them to the movies and take them to Lagoon and blah, blah, blah. Like, it doesn't work because now you're still trying to make it about what you can provide and what she can provide. No, you make it about the kids. What does the kids need? Are the kids happy? How can we make the kids happy in this? They didn't want this, right? From their parents. They don't want, or the baby dad or the baby mom, right? They don't want the kids. It's not the kids' fault that the couple broke up. So we got to stop making it more about us and make it them the focal point so that they can have a great upbringing. And it starts with communication, being upfront, like, hey, set the boundaries from the day one. Hey, you have the kids this week, do this, blah, blah, blah. I have the kids next week. Oh, the kids need to go here. Are you available to take them? Right? Yes, I can do that. Can we show up and be cordial with each other in the same space? That's also
because you still have to, there's still a relationship there.
Right.
she's still the
Yeah,
mother of your children.
Right.
But how was that transition? Talk to me about, you talked about communication,
Yeah.
but now you go from being the ex where it's hard, we're
Yeah.
arguing,
Yeah.
to now to some level we have to be, I don't know if friends is the right word. You said cordial, but
Yeah.
we got to be able to communicate
Yeah.
for the kids.
It's a lot easier now. We talk about a lot of different things now that's more about the kids. And then if we do talk about our relationship, we're like, hey, let's work towards something. If there's the light at the end of the tunnel, great.
Yeah.
If not, okay, we can still provide for our kids, right? So now it's more, since I've been through therapy and she's in therapy, now we can understand each other, right? So we if we're talking about the kids, it's just strictly, hey, Adrian or Amari or Jayla need this. Cool. All right, can you take them here? Cool, yes. Can we do that? It's more communication about the kids. And then somewhat, I mean, it can come back full circle, right? Okay, this works, that works. We understand. Oh, maybe we can do this as a family, right? But we just keep it, strictly about the kids right now.
Yeah.
Because that's the most important.
Of course.
I think the growth also comes from, I agree, being cordial, being kind, being civil. And a lot of you guys might not know this. Obviously, Ant know this, but obviously, me and Cass had a really rough year last year. 2022 was probably one of the hardest years of my life. But even through our small separation, we needed to. I went back to therapy with my therapist. She went back to therapy as well. Same thing. And it's not because life was shitty. It's because
Right.
we needed to fix things that need to be fixed. And but also her stuff came from different religion, her parents getting a divorce, infidelity, from her ex as well. So she was carrying a lot of these things that she never actually fixed, right? So she started seeing things differently and seeing our marriage differently, right? And with my past too, I had to figure out, like, okay, like, why do I do the things that I do?
Right.
Or why did I go out and cheat, years ago? And that's the thing. To get those answers, you have to peel the onion.
You got to
really
dig deep.
do. You got to
Right.
dig deep.
And that's painful.
And that's painful.
Hurts.
It hurts, man. It's, guys, if you guys are gonna go through therapy, just be prepared to be an emotional wreck for a little bit, because you're digging years of crap. And I'm sorry, but if you have a good therapist, you're gonna hear the truth.
Exactly.
And you have to be prepared for the truth. And then once that truth is out there, you're like, oh, you sit there and you marinate, and then your partner's telling you the fucking truth into your face. You're like,
and
Yeah.
you know it's true,
And you
right?
know it's
Deep
true.
down, you're like,
like, damn, I did fuck up. You're right. I didn't clean the dishes that one night.
Right.
But no, overall, and going back to my main point, was you have to be able to focus on the solution, not the problem.
Right.
Problem's done. It's set. Figure out how to move past that problem, focus on the solution. And the solution for us, and Ann was with me the whole time, was the business needs to be 100% good all the time, because this is our baby, right?
Right.
And our marriage never broke the business, because I
it's
could
hard to accomplish.
exactly,
Right.
Very
which I
hard.
could have not shown up to work. Cass could have gone home. Cass could have left.
You were
know
mad
what
at
I'm
each
saying?
other, so I just don't want to see
100%.
you. And
Hey, 100%.
hey, you got clients. I don't know. Figure it out, bro.
Yeah.
But I'm
and
not
that
in it.
takes a lot of maturity and level of kindness and level of communication to not break. And then you make sure that's good, right? And then you go to the next solution. And the next solution, what did I do? What happened? What can I fix? What can you fix? Da-da-da-da. And then you're back to a full-on circle with your partner. You guys, the answer is not to get fucking divorced. I'm
No.
sorry. I'll say that. That's not the answer. If you can fix what you can fix with your partner, fix it. And Cass knows is like, I will ride or die until the fucking end of times, because I'm not here to, get divorced. And it sucks because, after so long with being with someone, like that was the whole plan: kids, life, marriage, business, let's travel. But shit will hit the fan.
Yeah.
Shit is gonna hit the fan, and that's okay, because guess what? God is testing you. That's how I see it.
And as you go through this process, and you said it a couple of minutes ago of maybe adding new people to the equation.
Right.
So from what I understand, after your divorce, you were in a new relationship. How does that work? How do you introduce a new person, a new mom is the wrong word because that
Yeah.
person is not their mom, but a new
Yeah.
person in your life to the kids, to the ex? How do you integrate the new person without things blowing up again?
It was definitely a roller coaster for sure. If you're the person coming into, right, I'll say if it's bad chaos, right? If you're the person coming into it, what I did was I prepped her. I said, "Hey, this is what's going on. This is what it is. Are you okay? If not, I totally understand, right? Because you didn't ask for this. You just want to be with me and you just want to love me and you want to get to know me and you want to build with me. But I come with kids and I come with this. Now, just I tell people all the time, just be upfront of what you want. You have to, like you said, you have to communicate of what you want.
Yeah.
We lose so much time in relationships and different things like that because people are not really saying from the beginning what they actually really want from you. And so then you find yourself spinning your wheels, wasting time, doing things, asking questions that you should have had answered at the very beginning. And then you're just in this, this roller coaster of
Limbo.
limbo emotions and different things like that. So when I expressed it to her, she was fine. And then I had them meet over FaceTime. And I said,
With your kids. Your
no,
kids
no, no,
with
no,
her.
no, no, just me, her, and my ex.
Okay.
And so it was just like, we're on FaceTime, we're talking, hey, this is what it is. Are you cool? Yeah, cool. And then I had them two talk. What
Man.
are the boundaries?
You stepped out of the room.
I'm sorry.
That's
Thinking
crazy,
about
dude.
this is
That's
wild.
wild.
I couldn't. I'm sorry, but if I did that, Cass would fucking shoot me. That takes some balls.
But
It
it
takes-
has to happen.
but it has
no,
to happen.
I'm
You had to
agreeing
have
with
it,
it
dude.
because, and you said it perfectly. I prepped her with honesty.
Right.
I came forward with my garbage,
Yeah.
or not my garbage, my baggage.
Yeah.
And look how it turned out. Because a lot of you guys are fucking masking this shit and saying, "Oh yeah, we can hang out, but just tell the truth."
Or you just trash on the ex. Right?
Yeah.
Like
Right.
you're like, hey, by the way, you're gonna talk to her. She's insane.
Yeah, she's
a
crazy, or
bitch.
just
like you're about to.
yeah,
right?
this and that. And so
Yeah, fellas, don't talk bad about your exes.
Please
That makes you
don't.
look like a fucking idiot.
yeah, you won't win in that war. However, then she came to me. So plot twist, right?
Ex comes to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Plot twist. And she has a person. Now,
She put you in that seat.
yeah, and so it's like now I'm looking like, wait a minute.
What's happening, right?
This is
Feel
how
different.
this is how she feels
Oh,
when she's,
shit.
you know what I mean? So now I have these feelings like, who is this guy? Who is he? Is he going to try to play daddy? Is he blah, blah, blah? And then I sat back and was like, huh,
This is what it feels like.
this is exactly what it feels like.
And that's why you guys need to realize you always have to put yourself in other people's shoes.
Yes.
Emotionally, mentally, spiritually, because you have to understand what that person is going through.
And that's the most real example.
Yeah.
Literally.
Because now you're literally in that chair.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you're in
going
that chair.
through the same thing.
Yeah, and
That's
you
so
got to
interesting.
sit there and look at the other person, and it's like, man, really, this is really happening. And so it put life in perspective. Like, if you understand and, like we've been saying, communicate effectively,
Mhm.
that's another thing. Communicate effectively. Stop having these dead end conversations about, like Lou said, about what happened, the situation, right? Come up with a solution and have effective communication. Then it's a lot easier and things will go a lot smoother. So if that guy or girl, that the new girl or that new guy comes in, it's a smoother transition because the boundaries are set. They know the do's and don'ts. And obviously,
Yeah.
people want to find love regardless if you've been with the person for 10 years, 20 years, and then you break up. They still want to find that person that they want to love. and they want to get love from. And so that happened with my parents. My parents were married for 27 years. And then I graduated high school, and all of a sudden they want to get a divorce. And it's like, for 20 plus years, I've seen you guys hang out, love, and all of a sudden now,
I had a similar situation. My parents got divorced 2 years ago. They
Yeah.
were together for over 30 years.
and you're just asking why? Why? If you were that unhappy, why did you
so
stay?
long? Interesting
We stay
question.
because of the kids. We stay because
And
of
that's normally the
kids.
answer.
That was the answer
And
in
that
my
was the
Same.
case.
answer.
That
And
was
I
the answer.
see it, and that's the one thing I told Cass. I remember, it's like, hey, if we ever get to a point where we're 45 and the kids are big, we can't stay because of the kids. Stay because we're happy. But if we're not happy, let's figure it out.
Well, because there's this fear that if we break this up, we're going to ruin our kids' lives.
Right.
Mhm.
But-
In some situations, yes, it could, because how it's handled after the fact.
Which is the point that I was going to make.
Mhm.
Anger.
In this case, you're a
you
good
know.
example of
Yeah.
trying to make the best out of it.
Yeah.
Right now,
Yes.
how did your kids react to the newbies?
Well, kids are kids, so they're a lot younger, so they didn't care, right? They didn't really fully understand at the very beginning, but they just had fun.
This fear of, oh, it's going to blow
Yeah.
up, and I mean, a lot of it can just be
Mm.
Yeah.
overstated
Yeah,
if
it
you
could
do
be
things right.
Yeah, if you do things right, it can be smooth. Kids want to go where they feel loved. That's what I learned.
Mm.
If you're not, and kids are the most honest, purest humans on earth. If they don't like something, they'll tell you, right? So they just want to go where they feel loved, where they feel invited, and a nurturing home. That's what they want growing up. When they're 5, 6, 7, 8, that's what they want. They don't care about, what you guys got going on outside. They just want to feel love. And so it was easy. It wasn't too bad. The biggest thing that hurt me and it made me emotional was when my son looked at me, and he looked at me and was just like, "Dad, like, I miss you. I miss you being home all the time." And then he said, "I just want my dad." And I was just like, man, at that point I was just like, how selfish of me not to get work on for myself, like therapy, different things like that. For him to say that, it was just like, how selfish of me not to go get help when I needed to go get help. Because he just wants his dad. That's it. Nothing else, nothing more, nothing less. I just want my dad to be around all the time.
And a lot of us dudes will retreat.
Yes.
We won't get the help, and
Right.
we will retreat, or we'll bury ourselves in our work, in the
Eh,
gym.
And it gets worse.
That's just our default for a lot of us.
Mm-hmm.
Is I just don't want to deal with this. I'm
Right.
gonna go drink with my buddies,
Right.
and
Mhm.
that's it.
Right.
But
Mhm.
what are you leaving back at home? I think is the key question.
Right.
100%.
And just being, I was, like I said, I was like, how selfish. Like, that hit me. And I was just like, oh no. I can never do that ever again.
So how do you feel now? What's life like now? What's Aunt? How's Aunt feeling today?
And today is feeling better than ever because I'm on plan. I'm focused. I said it on my Instagram. Coaches gave me a plan. We're here to execute the plan. My mental state is better. My emotional state is better. I'm more present. I'm more happier. We talked about it just the other day. I'm just like, I told him on the way we were gonna go get something to eat. I told Coach Louis, and I was just like, hey man, I'm happy with myself. I'm content with myself now, right? If everyone decided to leave me right now, I would still be happy.
Say that again. Say that again, because that's a big dependency.
Mhm.
Right.
Say that again. I think that
If-
is the key of this whole podcast. That's the golden quote. Say it again.
Right. If everyone decided to leave me today, I would still be happy.
And that to me is self-value, self-worth, self-love. When you can be happy and not be attached to things and to people and or money, right? When you're completely good with being you.
Yeah.
And it's crazy the war you had to fight
To get there.
to be sitting in this chair
Right.
with your very red sneakers.
My red Air
Talking
Force
about this,
Ones,
right?
yeah,
But
yeah.
that's why I love this project, because people are today where you were sitting in the parking lot.
Mhm.
100%.
They're feeling the way you were feeling, whether in Vegas when you
Yeah.
took your shirt off, you're crying, you're like, man, who is this person?
Yeah,
People are feeling like that today.
right.
And that's what I think is the beauty of this podcast.
I love that. That's true. That's true. And the biggest thing, you guys, is we're putting different perspectives out there for you guys to actually internalize what's happening and understand that everyone in this world is going through some type of shit, some type of hurt, pain, obesity, loss of a parent,
Yeah,
so many different things that everyone faces. But guess what? We can all get through it with doing the proper things to get ourselves out of this dark place. And it doesn't have to be dark. It really doesn't. I could have, At knows this, you know this too. I could have easily sold Transform. I could have
Yeah.
easily left Transform. I could have
Yeah.
easily left my amazing, cool home that we bought. I could have done so many things.
You're talking about when you were in it last year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You could have just
Yeah.
fuck
Could have
everything,
bounced.
just I'm out.
There was no more Louis Gucci, right? But that's the point of who I am, is I am going to thrive and succeed and still figure out ways for myself to be better so I can be better for other people. Because I'm going through all these things and I can help other people with what I have gone through. Literally.
Sure. So we talked about where Ant is today. What's next? What you got going on?
What's next, man? Funny enough, we decided, because I used to be on Instagram Antzo Lou, but now I'm Antzo Athletics. So we decided to move forward with a name change and a brand so people can see what I'm about. So we just got things in the works, man. We're trying to do different things. I spoke to people about clothing and different things like that, just to kind of get things out there and get things moving in the right direction. My biggest thing, if I could leave anything on the world, is I would tell someone, if this was my last words on earth, is go chase that dream.
Mm.
Don't be afraid to chase that dream. Start that podcast. Go be the creator that you are. Start that podcast, start that business. What are you waiting on? Right? Go be the person you want to be. Be your authentic self.
And in closing, I just want to congratulate you.
Yeah.
I honor you for your struggle.
Yeah.
I know
Thank you, man.
it's not easy. I haven't been through something like that.
Right.
So it's not something that I can speak on.
Right.
Divorce or co-parenting.
Yeah.
I haven't been there. Louis doesn't have kids. So it's, for me personally, I love hearing these stories.
Right.
Because for me, it's like, okay, if I'm ever in that spot, which you never know, you might be, I know I can hit you up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's what this is also about, of building a network
Right.
of, hey, if there's someone out there that is struggling with co-parenting, Ant's here.
Right.
Hit him up.
Right.
Ask him for his opinion.
Right.
Shoot him a voice note on Instagram.
Right.
He'll respond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we have someone that resonates with Bryce or any of the people that are on the show, myself, Louis, if you're going through something, that's why we're here. So
Mhm.
I honor you. I know it's not easy to share.
Yeah.
Sometimes sharing has consequences.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
You don't know who's going to hear this.
Right.
You might get a phone call and be like, what the hell are you doing? Putting out our dirty laundry. But there's value in that because,
But it's
like
real.
I said, other people can be going through the same things.
But it's real. It's out there. It's honest. And one of the biggest things that I love about Ant, is he always tells me, 1 foot forward, say
Yeah.
how it is. And the cool thing is, I am a very, very kind person. I do give a lot to other people. And that's honestly my flaw. I trust in people very quick and then they fuck me over. So one of the things I have really enjoyed about Ant is he keeps me straight, because he knows who I am as a person, my vision, who I am, truly am at my heart. And he's always been the person that's like the little devil, on this corner. Like, no, this is what you got to do. You're fucking up.
Yeah.
And he keeps me straight in line because he also sees the growth that, he's had, that Cass has had in the company and everything. That's what we're doing. And you want to have good friends like that. You want to have people that are holding you accountable to your shit and your bullshit. You know?
do 100%.
And if you don't have that, if your friends don't keep you accountable, they ain't your friends.
Right.
Feel that way.
100%.
So guys, hit up Anthony. Follow him on Instagram. Was it Anzo Athletics?
Yep.
He trains people, coaches people. You want to get in shape. These guys are the ones that you need to talk to. Louis. And Louis may not respond to DM because he didn't respond to my DM. So I had to go with Johan because he didn't answer the DM. But anyways, we're here now. So hit these guys up if you want to get in shape. This has been episode number 8 of the Male Mind podcast. Share this, pass it on, subscribe to the channel. We have events that are coming up. We're planning a bunch of stuff. We'll let you guys know. Stay in tune with the Instagram page, the stories, all of it. And we'll see you next time.